So we're seeing a lot of conversations happening on the internet about this Xbox Trojan Horse theory in regards to PlayStation. Apparently because Xbox decided to put their games on the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4, and that because they're putting large waves of games on these platforms and there's pre-orders with them, apparently that means that Xbox has quote unquote taken over PlayStation, and therefore the Trojan horse theory, which means that, you know, you're faking giving something to somebody only to ambush them, is taking its place. We're seeing not only content creators, which doesn't surprise me, but we're seeing well-respected journalists now jump on this bandwagon and proclaim that there is a takeover. Is there a takeover? Why is all this being reported right now? And is this really a big surprise now that Xbox has pretty much embraced going third party and trying to put their games everywhere? Let's talk about it. What's up, people? It's your boy MM2K of Hard Knock Digital Culture. MM2K Gaming and Cloud Dosage back again with another episode of Quick Dose. This is where we talk about the latest and greatest in the video game community, and we will then eventually lead you to a larger conversation where we deep dive this and we look at all the facts behind it. All right. So yeah, this is real, folks. For those of you that have like kind of been disengaged because effectively the console war is over, right? Like Microsoft, for lack of a better term, they bent the knee. You know, Phil Spencer broadcasted this and said you cannot out console PlayStation. So they've essentially bent the knee. They've pretty much partnered with PlayStation, and they've gone above and beyond to accommodate the platform, make the games look better on the platform. Heck, the developers of Black Ops 6 even went out of their way to ensure that their games were PS5 Pro Enhanced. And when the PS5 Pro Enhanced version was running into problems, they fixed it in record time, in half a day. And then they actually went on Digital Foundry to talk with them about, yes, other developers, this is all you need to do in order to, you know, get the bells and whistles out of the PlayStation 5, right? Pro, that is. Even games before that, they were performing better. You know, even if ever so slightly, just the simple fact that they're doing that, you know, boggled a lot of people's minds, because Xbox was known as the monsters that eat monsters for breakfast and the world's most powerful console and all that stuff, right? We heard all those monikers, and, you know, now that you got the Pro out here and you're essentially giving up the power narrative, which you've been known for. It carried you through the OG Xbox era. It carried you through the 360 because of some design issues with the PlayStation 3 on how it handled third-party games. And you know, that was your big whoop to do, and you gave it up. You gave up on it. You dropped the Xbox One X. And even though it was the least selling console out of the bunch last generation, you felt like it was necessary because you had to reclaim the power narrative. And that's why, you know, this generation you led with the Xbox Series X, and that being the world's most powerful console. Well, let's take a look at what's actually been happening in regards to the reporting behind this, and we can begin to gauge, and we'll let you figure out, you be the judge, if this is going overboard or not. So let's do this. Let's make that bigger. Okay. So shout out to VGT Gaming News. They have this up here where, like many people, they're reporting. They said nothing to see here, but a few Xbox games sitting at the top of the list being pre-ordered on the PlayStation Store, right? And then, you know, in this snippet, you got Indiana Jones, 2 versions of Indiana Jones, 2 versions of Forza. But even more peculiar than that we got Derek Strickland of Tweaktown. And look, I like Derek a lot, even though I don't agree with him a lot. I always thought that his analysis was always insightful, and you knew where he leaned. You know what I mean? But you always felt like that it was good faith conversations, right? Well, since Microsoft has bent the knee, I got to be honest with you. From my observation, and maybe it's just me, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm psycho. I've been called worse than that at home. It seems like Derek is borderline crashing out, dare I say, because if you look at his timeline, he talks about how I don't understand why Xbox is doing this. This is going to hurt them competitively. Why aren't they doing this? And then he's like grabbing at stuff to make it seem like that they're being competitive. And it seems like that he's even jumping now on this, oh, maybe it's a Trojan horse theory, right? When even contemporaries like Jez Gordon and others just told, or have not, I don't know if they've told him, but they're just necessarily saying there is no Trojan horse here. Microsoft is just trying to make money, and they're doing so behost the desires of people like Derek. They really want to see them be competitive. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think that's a bad thing to want to see Xbox be competitive. Why? Because if it's your favorite brand, and they're your favorite brand because you like what they represented, you like what the brand brought forth, you want to see them continue to bring that forth and do so in a very competitive way, because if they're competitive, they're going to do better. It's like, where do you go? You know, I hate to use a sports analogy, but what athlete do you know that's good or the best at what they do unless they compete against other athletes? Right? Kind of hard for them to gauge what they can do and how much better they need to excel. They're not willing to compete. Still sharp and still. It just gives you a better product in the long run. So I get where Derek is coming from. It's not coming from a bad place, you know, as a consumer, him simply, again, wanting Xbox to compete against PlayStation, known, you know, objectively as one of, if not the best games developer, probably only second to Rockstar to some, second to nobody to many, game developer out there. Right now, it's just this Trojan horse thing that confuses me. If you're going to embrace this Trojan horse thing, then you have to look at what's behind it. So Microsoft says we're going to no longer put our games just solely on our platforms and PC. We're going to go and we're going to put them on our biggest competitor, PlayStation. Sometimes we'll do a day and date. Sometimes it'll come a little bit after. Right? Even Jez Gordon said that approach kind of makes the Xbox gamer a beta tester for Xbox games on the more heavily regarded PlayStation. And then you look at it, yeah, they're a beta tester, and then they're adding in PS5 Pro elements and stuff like that. So I'm guessing it is the theory that Xbox being on PlayStation and selling and having more pre-orders on PlayStation than PlayStation themselves, does that mean that they are taking over? Yeah, very confusing stuff, because I'm trying to understand why, what makes this a takeover? I mean, do we say this when, like, EA might have multiple versions of Madden, FIFA, and now the NCAA football game, all happening at the same time? Do we say that then? I don't know. I'm trying to understand. Number one, this Trojan theory. Number two, do we truly understand that? And this is something that I think Xbox didn't really look into. And those of you that are listening that maybe believe this is like a Trojan hero, a Trojan horse type thing, I don't think you guys understand this, right? You can't be a platform holder and produce so many games, right? Like if you're a platform holder and you're producing so many games, your overhead is going to be astronomical unless your platform can sell those games. That's why we've never seen PlayStation. People are like, well, PlayStation doesn't have the money, which could be true, but we've never seen PlayStation try to swallow up a cajillion studios like Xbox and then absorb a whole bunch of them through Bethesda and Activision Blizzard. When you have that much overhead, if your games are going to be exclusive, they gotta reach a whole bunch of people. And Xbox maybe thought that this was their claim to fame on PC. But as we can see with PC, it didn't boost them up to the level of financials that PlayStation was getting. So they're investing so much more into gaming. Xbox is. They're not slacking on the investment front as far as monetarily. They bought Bethesda, which that was at the time the largest gaming acquisition ever. And then they bought Activision Blizzard, which then became the largest gaming acquisition and the largest acquisition ever in business, to the tune of around $75 billion. So here's my thing. I am going to tell you guys this. This needs to be talked about in more detail. We need to look at this and try to understand, okay, is this some Trojan horse and Microsoft is releasing all these games, even though, because they're getting 70% back and Sony's only getting 30, but are we looking at what is being deducted from PlayStation 70%? I mean, from Xbox's 70% versus what's being deducted from PlayStation's 30%? Are we looking at things like that? Are we understanding that maybe Xbox bit off more than what they can chew as far as having these so many companies making so many games for a platform that doesn't have enough people to buy said games? Do we look at the fact that Game Pass is not at a level to where it can subsidize itself, so they need to have game sales subsidize it? And you go back to problem number two, which is there's not enough people buying games, buying Xbox games. Are we looking at all that? Maybe people weren't. Maybe people like Derek weren't before. But if you don't want to be left in the fog and you want to continue this conversation, I'm going to tell you where you go. You're going to want to go to MM2K Gaming News, probably where you're at right now, if you're listening to this video. Hit the join button. Join us at the Foamy Homie level and be part of a members discussion where we're going to deep dive this in more detail and talk about it, flesh it out. Kind of look at what Derek had to say, see where there's legitimacy to it, because there might be, and then let's just fan out any of the bullpucky. Join us there. Join us there now. We're gonna talk about the bogusness, as it's called, the bogusness of the Xbox Trojan Horse on PlayStation. Look for that members video, and let's have the discussion. With that said, have a wonderful gaming day. Peace. What's up, people? We hope that you're enjoying this MM2K Gaming News content. If you're enjoying the platform and you want to dive in more, you have an opportunity to do so through our members content, and there are multiple ways which you can enjoy our members content. First and foremost, you can go to MM2K Gaming News on YouTube, hit that join button, and you can select one of our two tiers. There's 3 tiers here, but the gifted foamy tier are mainly for gifted memberships. But if you want to give us an extra $1 a month, that's fine, but you don't have to, because with the foamy homie tier, which is the level 2 tier, you get access to everything that you would at the gifted foamy tier. So you can do the foamed up tier at $199 or do the foamy homie tier, which will get you access to all the content there at $399. What you can also do now is head over to patreon.com. When you head over to patreon.com, you will get access to the same content. But here's the special thing about Patreon. When you head over to patreon.com and look for MM2K Gaming Member Plus, when you look for that, right now we're running the discount through all of April, all the way up until May 1st, 2025. You can get 50% off your membership. All right. So they're at the same 2 tiers. They're normally $2 and $4, but you can access the same tiers at $1 and $2, again, for the month of April all the way up to May 1st. What that does is that second tier gives you access to the Discord, so you can check out all the member related stuff in the Discord. And don't forget, if you're a member over on MM2K Gaming, make sure that you go to our special posts. Go over to posts over on MM2K Gaming News on YouTube. If you are a YouTube member, what you're going to want to do is go to the post section. There will be a special post for the members content for the members video. Or if you're part of the Discord, you'll get notification. Just make sure that when you're in the Discord, you link your YouTube membership and you link your Discord membership together in the settings, and you're set to go. So again, you got multiple options. You can become a YouTube member, get access at the $2 tier, the $4 tier. The $4 tier, of course, gives you access to everything, right? Or you can go over to Patreon, get the access to the same content and the same shout outs, at the same tiers, but enjoy a 50% discount through the month of April. There's more ways that we're trying to make this a better platform for you. We thank you for all your support in us trying to do so. And until next time, have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.